Welcome back to TPS. A long list of the NFL's top stars, including many prominent players for your fantasy leagues, disappointed big time in 2019. Be it injuries, bad breaks, down years from their supporting cast, or poor fits in the system, some big-named players fell miles short of expectations in 2019. But these 10 NFL stars won't be so unlucky again in 2020. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Number 10, Todd Gurley. Most running backs can only dream of posting Gurley's 2019 totals behind an atrocious Los Angeles Rams offensive line while dealing with a knee injury. But when you're Todd Gurley, 857 rushing yards and 12 rushing scores in just one season just isn't good enough. Such is life when you have 3 Pro Bowl selections, 2 first-team All-Pro selections, and an Offensive Player of the Year award on your resume. The Rams decided to release Gurley this offseason, just 2 years after giving him a $60 million extension. But he found a nice landing spot with the Atlanta Falcons, who secured him on a low-risk 1-year deal. Gurley will be a nice upgrade over Devonta Freeman, who has struggled with injuries of his own. And defenses will surely be accounting for Matt Ryan and the passing game much more, so the holes will be there for Gurley to exploit. He's an excellent fit in this Atlanta offense. We wouldn't be that surprised if Gurley hit 1,000 yards again. Double-digit TDs are also well within reach, and now that he's playing on a cheap contract rather than an extremely lucrative one, the general public's perspective on Gurley and his value could change quickly. He could very well be one of the NFL's best bargain players in 2020. Number 9, Chris Harris Jr. Vic Fangio built a superb secondary in 2019, his first year as an NFL head coach. But Denver Broncos veteran corner Chris Harris Jr. wasn't his usual dominant self, thanks to Fangio's curious decision to move him out of his natural slot position. Harris has been arguably the NFL's best slot corner of the past decade, but the move to the outside didn't help in the slightest. He received a mere 69.9 grade from Pro Football Focus for the season, and according to Pro Football Reference, Harris allowed a 67.1 completion percentage when targeted, as well as 4 receiving touchdowns. Harris and the Broncos couldn't agree on a new deal, so he wound up signing a 2-year contract with the AFC West rival Los Angeles Chargers in free agency. For starters, moving back to the slot will naturally help Harris regain his Pro Bowl form. Not only that, but he joins a star-studded defense that includes 3 other Pro Bowl defensive backs in Derwin James, Desmond King, and Casey Hayward. Good luck with that opposing quarterbacks. Harris should reassert himself as one of the league's top corners in LA. And it also helps that he won't consistently be tasked with shutting down the opposition's best receiver on the outside. So expect Harris to win the vast majority of his one-on-one matchups in 2020 as he enjoys a fun bounce-back year. Number 8, JuJu Smith-Schuster. JuJu finished ahead of Antonio Brown in both catches and receiving yards in the 2018 season. With AB gone, it was easy to believe that Smith-Schuster would reassert himself as legitimate number 1 receiver. But JuJu, like the entire Pittsburgh Steelers offense, endured a massive regression in 2019. Losing Ben Roethlisberger for the season in Week 2 didn't help. The play of backups Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges left a lot to be desired too. JuJu finished the season with 42 receptions for 542 yards and 3 touchdowns in 12 games, and now he enters his contract year. The pressure's on. But come on now. Last time Roethlisberger played a full season, Smith-Schuster had 111 receptions for 1,426 yards and 7 touchdowns. Even if Roethlisberger is only, say, 70% healthy in 2020, that's still miles better than a fully healthy Rudolph or Hodges. Smith-Schuster is the undisputed number 1 receiver in Pittsburgh, who hit 1,000 yards no problem. Don't be surprised if he's near the top of the leaderboard in every major receiving category. No way he disappoints again in 2020. Number 7, Jalen Ramsey. Though Ramsey earned his 3rd consecutive Pro Bowl selection, he simply wasn't anything close to his 2017 All-Pro form. Ramsey's 2019 season was hampered by a frustrating situation with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He got into a shouting match with head coach Doug Marrone on the sidelines during the Jaguars' Week 2 game against the Houston Texans. Ramsey was finally traded to the Los Angeles Rams before the trade deadline, but he wasn't his usual dominant self. That's probably because he had to learn a whole new defensive scheme. So, some bumps were inevitable. Ramsey earned a disappointing 71.5 grade from PFF for 2019. He yielded a 66.2 completion percentage when targeted too. But with an entire offseason to catch up, Ramsey should be much more prepared for the 2020 season. He's simply too talented to endure another inconsistent year. He's not playing on the awful Jaguars anymore. He'll be with the Rams from day one, and he'll have had more time to familiarize himself with their defense. Expect Ramsey to play like the elite corner that he is in 2020. Number 6, Cam Newton. This was always a match made in heaven. All we can say is, what took you so long, Bill Belichick? Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in free agency. Belichick decided against signing, drafting, or trading for another quarterback up until the end of June before he finally signed Cam to a one-year deal. New England was always the perfect fit for Newton. Now Belichick and Josh McDaniels can give Jarrett Stidham more time to develop while they remain in win-now mode with the 2015 league MVP under center. Yes, injuries have hampered Newton over the last 2 years. A shoulder injury ruined his promising 2018 campaign. He only suited up for 2 games in 2019 due to a foot injury. Yes, he's now on the wrong side of 30, and Newton's style of play will always make him an injury risk. But he's not old for a quarterback by any means. When healthy, Newton is a top 10 QB in the game. The Patriots have been a heavy rush-first offense over the last 2 years anyway, so hopefully it won't be hard to build their offense around Newton's skill set. Belichick has a long history of helping veterans revive their careers when everybody else thought they were done. Rodney Harrison, Corey Dillon, and Randy Moss certainly come to mind. So why can't he do the same for a former MVP and 3-time Pro Bowler? If he's healthy, Newton will excel in New England, and he'll help him remain in Super Bowl contention. Number 5, Odell Beckham Jr. The Cleveland Browns were the media darlings last season after acquiring Pro Bowl wideout Odell Beckham Jr. by a trade. But Murphy's Law applied to these Browns. Everything that could go wrong did in fact go wrong. The offensive line was atrocious. Head coach Freddie Kitchens turned out to be unqualified for his job. Baker Mayfield regressed after a remarkable rookie year, and OBJ played through a sports hernia that hampered him big time. Despite all of this, Beckham finished with 74 receptions for 1,035 yards and 4 touchdowns. Not a bad stat line considering all the hardships he and the Browns endured. Health will naturally help Beckham regain his Pro Bowl form. Not only that, but new head coach Kevin Stefanski is a major upgrade over Kitchens. He won't waste the talent of this offense. OBJ is healthy, he has more weapons to complement him, and he has a better head coach to work with. Yeah, Beckham will be back to his dominant self in 2020. Number 4, DeMarcus Lawrence. After posting back-to-back double-digit sack seasons, Lawrence was rewarded with a mega 5-year contract extension worth $105 million. But the Dallas Cowboys didn't get much value out of Lawrence in 2019. The 2-time Pro Bowler recorded a mere 5 sacks, a far cry from the 14.5 and 10.5 he posted in 2017 and 2018 respectively. But the majority of the Cowboys team as a whole regressed in 2019. And Lawrence, like the other stars in Dallas, should enjoy a bounce-back campaign in 2020. He'll benefit greatly with Mike McCarthy replacing Jason Garrett as head coach. New defensive coordinator Mike Nolan will surely look to build the defense around Lawrence and the pass rush, especially after losing Byron Jones, Malik Collins, and Robert Quinn in the offseason. Lawrence is the centerpiece of this Dallas defense. He's too good not to post double-digit sacks every season. Hope for him to get back to that mark as he challenges for the NFL sack title in 2020. Number 3, Adam Thielen. Injuries prevented Thielen from taking advantage of a huge bounce-back season from Kirk Cousins. He battled hamstring and ankle injuries throughout 2019, and Thielen was limited to 10 regular season outings. He finished with just 30 catches for 418 yards and 6 touchdowns. Thielen will average just 41.8 yards per game, way off the 85.8 he averaged in 2018. His catch percentage also dipped from 73.9% in 2018 to 62.5% last season. But Thielen looked like his old Pro Bowl self in the playoffs, finishing with 12 catches for 179 yards in 2 postseasons. He caught a 43-yard pass in overtime of the wild-card game against the New Orleans Saints, which set up Kyle Rudolph's game-winning touchdown. Thielen is healthy now, and following the Stephon Diggs trade to Buffalo, he's unquestionably the go-to receiver in Minnesota. Cousins will look to feed him the ball more than ever, and Thielen will be up for the challenge. Thielen is a top 10 receiver when healthy. Expect him to regain that form in 2020. He's not going to disappoint again. Number 2, Von Miller. 2019 was unquestionably the worst season of Miller's Hall of Fame career, with the exception of 2013 when he was limited to 9 games. Miller had posted double-digit sacks every year. But 2019 was an off year for Miller in so many ways, and we're not just talking about the lowly 8 sacks. Miller didn't record a single forced fumble nor one fumble recovery. He also received a PFF grade of 79.3, which is pretty low by his standards. But consider a few factors here. Miller was learning a brand new defense under rookie head coach Vic Fangio. Not only that, but his sidekick, fellow pass rushing star Bradley Chubb, only played 4 games before suffering a season-ending ACL tear. It was so much easier for defenses to plan around Miller without having to focus on Chubb. That won't be the case in 2020, though. Chubb is healthy now, and Miller will have grown more accustomed to Fangio's defense. And don't forget that the entire Denver team got better as the season progressed. This includes Miller, who had 4 sacks in his final 6 games. Look for that type of Von Miller to reemerge once again in 2020 as he challenges for the Defensive Player of the Year honors. And number 1, Baker Mayfield. Mayfield took the league by storm in his 2018 rookie season. His 27 touchdown passes were the most ever for a first-year quarterback, and that was despite him sitting on the bench for 2 starts. After the Browns acquired the aforementioned OBJ, it was easy to believe that Mayfield would enjoy an MVP-like sophomore year. But as we noted earlier, an awful offensive line and terrible coaching led to another miserable year in the land. Maybe the Browns won't make the playoffs in 2020, but Mayfield will at least bounce back in a big way. Again, Coach Stefanski is a major upgrade over Kitchens. If the former can help Kirk Cousins turn it around, he can do the same with Mayfield. Newcomers Jack Conklin and Jedrick Willis Jr. will repair the horrendous O-line, giving Mayfield more time to find his star wideouts, Beckham and Jarvis Landry. The additions of tight ends Austin Hooper and rookie Harrison Bryant will help as well. They'll play major roles in Stefanski's offense, which will also rely heavily on running back Nick Chubb to take some of the pressure off Baker. Stefanski will find a balance here. He'll run the ball a ton and do a much better job protecting his quarterback while putting him in a position to succeed. We were wrong last year when we picked the Browns to win the AFC North and embark on a playoff run. But this time we're 100% positive that Mayfield will play like his 2018 self, except he'll be even better. The first overall pick from 2018 will be a star this season. Bank on it. What other NFL players will rebound in 2020? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do that by hitting the subscribe button down there. And if you're down there, why don't you hit the like button if you like the video? And last but not least, don't forget to tune into TPS every single day for more cool videos. We'll see you next time.